my name is Becky Griffin. I'm the coordinator of the Great Georgia Pollinator Census, and I'm here with my friend.
Hi everyone, I'm Irony Payne, and I'm the Pollinator Coordinator for Georgia Association of Conservation Districts. So we are now halfway through the Spring 2022 STEM Challenge, which is the Great Georgia Pollinator Protectors. So we hope you guys are learning a lot about pollinator habitat and ways to protect our pollinators. So Becky's a butterfly. Becky, what do butterflies look for when they're looking for blooms?
Well, butterflies aren't really interested in pollen, so we are looking for plants that have really great, rich nectar sources. We also like things we can land on because these wings get heavy. So instead of hanging upside down for a long period of time, I like things like coneflowers, where I can just land on the top and then just enjoy the nectar and not have to worry about hanging upside down. I also like things that are tall. So when I'm flying, I can see them. Things like Mexican sunflower is one of my favorites. So those are the types of things that butterflies like.
And I am a leaf cutter bee. So here's an example of my leaf, which you guys might remember from our announcement on Valentine's Day. And leaf cutter bees are tiny bees. We're solitary bees. And we do like pollen and we do like nectar. And we'll actually collect pollen to bring back to our nest that we make with the pieces of leaves that we collect. And as a small leafcutter bee, I don't want to have to travel super far to find my food sources because there's a lot of predators that are a lot bigger than me that could get me. And wind makes it really hard for me to travel far. So I want a lot of blooms in one location for me to visit. And I can visit smaller blooms because I'm a smaller bee. I like white blooms because they're easy for me to see and find.
In order to get a lot of different types of pollinators, diversity, you need a diverse garden.
Yep.
Different shapes and sizes and colors and heights and different types of nectar in that garden to get as many pollinators as you can.
And as it turns out, if you plant a bunch of different plants, you might get some different honey from the bees that are visiting those plants. And so that's the activity that we're going to do today. Becky, do you want to tell us a little bit about it?
Sure. So the only bees that we really collect honey from are honeybees. And we are very fortunate that honeybees make enough honey that if they're managed correctly, we can get some and we leave some for the health of that honeybee colony. So today we're going to try some honey from different parts of the state, different flowers, because they will look different, they will taste different, because they have different properties. So I have taken 3 different types of honey and I've secretly put them in 3 different little cups here. So are we ready to get started?
Yes.
All right, so take the cup that has the number 1 on it and look at it.
Seems to be lighter than the other ones.
Yeah, you can smell it. Kind of use all your senses looking at it and smelling it. And when you're ready, get your spoon and taste a little.
Flavor-wise, this is tough. Maybe more of the, like a molasses flavor?
Yeah, that's what I'm getting too. It's a little crumbly in there. I know crumbly is one of our words there.
Yeah. And it is so interesting to me because it doesn't taste super floral, but you can smell, it smells floral.
It definitely smells full.
Okay, so for color,
maybe something between extra light and light amber.
So between extra light amber and light amber, maybe something between these two, because that's the color. Yeah, I really like this one.
Yeah, this was a good one.
Okay.
Nothing at all tasted off or didn't taste good.
Yeah, there was no bitterness, no really grainy texture. It was very, very nice. Okay.
All right, so in the rule in doing a taste test is you have to cleanse your palate.
Okay.
So have some water and have a cracker. We want to get the taste of number 1 out so it doesn't influence us as we taste number 2.
Okay.
All right, you ready for number 2? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and stick mine down the color guide. This one, it smells different.
It does. It doesn't smell as floral as the first one.
It does not. It does not. I'm getting a little bit of a darker on the color scale, I think.
Yeah, closer to amber.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Oh, it's thicker. It's thicker than the other one.
Wow, this is definitely different. It's not as complex, I don't think. I don't get a bunch of different tones.
No, very even.
Mm-hmm.
Sweeter than the other one, I think.
Mm-hmm. I think you're right about that.
Because this one, to me, is very similar to like a really thick molasses that I'd want to put on a pancake. And it's very sweet.
Right.
Whereas that one, like you said, it's more complex. And I could just eat that one by itself and it'd be a whole experience.
Yeah, I'm with you. This would be good on a biscuit.
Yeah,
This would be good like with cheese or, you know, something like that. This is a fun way to spend the day. Tasting honeys. Okay. Number 3 is,
It's a light amber.
yep, light amber.
Number 3 is definitely a light amber. Very similar in color to number 1.
Mm-hmm. This smells good.
This one's floral too.
Mm-hmm. To me, this tastes more like what I would think traditional honey would taste.
Mm-hmm.
It smells more floral than it tastes to me.
Yep.
But it's definitely different than number 2, which was more molassesy. So, are you ready to see what we had?
Yes, I want to know which
Okay.
flowers these came from.
So number 1 is a wildflower honey, but it's from Savannah. So these bees had a different ecosystem than what we're used to up here in the mountains. They have a very longer bloom season. I don't know when this honey was pulled, but it was the coastal flowers. So some of the things that might not make it up here because of our cold, they may have a longer season there. So it's probably, my guess is if it's Savannah, it's probably a lot of different flowers, a lot of things blooming at one time. So that's interesting.
That explains the strong floral scents.
Exactly.
And the
exactly.
complex flavor.
So we know that honey is named for when the bees brought the nectar in, what plants were most prevalent in blooming, right? And when we call it wildflower honey, that means there's no one thing. If we were to come across orange blossom honey, that means that the bees brought in the nectar from mostly orange blossoms. Now, it's never going to be 100% because there's going to be weeds on the side of the road or other flowers, but the primary ingredient is going to be orange blossom. So the second one, number 2, this is very interesting. So we said it was kind of molassesy. This is our mountain sourwood. And this was actually taken from the bees in the apiary up here. And it was when the sourwood trees were blooming in the mountains and the bees made sourwood honey. So it's definitely different.
Yes, it's
isn't it?
A lot thicker than number 1, for sure. And a very strong flavor.
So that means number 3 is our local wildflower honey. So instead of, to compare it to number 1, number 3 is our local wildflowers.
And they were similar. 1 and 3 were very similar in texture. They were both floral. But 1 definitely did seem more complex than number 3.
I think so. And, you know, it does make you wonder, is it because maybe there were more flowers blooming than our wildflower honey? Because I know we pulled this in July. So they had a pretty good run of a lot of different flowers up here, but probably not as many
as down south.
Well, thank you for joining me on this fun taste test.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed all 3 of them, honestly. I'm a big honey fan. So
Good.
Awesome.
Very good.
Thank you so much, Becky.
Sure. Anytime.